Hi. So I found the creepiest guy that I could find for this video. His name is Edward Gein. This the stuff that is in here, I can't show pictures except for his face because YouTube would not like that, and you'll see why um, at about the end of the story. So here we go. Born in August 27th, 1906, Edward had one older brother. His mother, Augusta, hated her husband George. He was an alcoholic, he was abusive, and he could not keep a job. At one point, he did own his own grocery store, but he sold the business to move to an isolated home on a farm. This became their permanent residence. Edward left the farm only to attend school. Outside of school, he spent most of his time doing chores on the farm. Augusta was very religious, mostly Lutheran. His mother would preach to him many times throughout the day. Ed would laugh at seemingly random times, as if he was laughing at his own jokes, which sometimes I do it, not gonna lie. He had trouble making friends, and even though he was very antisocial, he did very well academically. Now, this wasn't really his fault because his mother would punish him if he made friends, like beat him with like a wooden spoon kind of thing. So that's her fault that he was lacking in the social department. He just wasn't allowed to have friends. When George, the father, was 66 years old, in 1940 he died of heart failure due to being an alcoholic. The brothers, Henry and Ed, did a lot of odd jobs to support the family, now being the man of the household, or men of the household. They would do handyman jobs and babysit. Edward seemed to be a lot better with children than he was adults, and he usually was the one to take babysitting jobs. And he enjoyed it for the most part, because he can socialize with children, because he couldn't when he was a child. Ed started a fire when he was older, and it eventually got out of control, and through the presence of firefighters to help put this out, it got huge. When the fire was put out, Ed claimed that his brother was missing. And there was a group who scoured the whole farm with like flashlights and dogs, and they eventually found him face down, dead. It was originally thought that he died of a heart attack because he wasn't burned. No sign of third-degree burns anywhere. But it was later stated that he had bruises around his head and there was evidence of asphyxiation. But the police didn't do an investigation, there was no official autopsy, nothing really happened that you would expect something to happen because, he had bruises all over his head and neck. Gein and his mother were now alone. Augusta had a paralyzing stroke shortly after Henry's death, and Gein devoted himself to taking care of her. After a little while, she had a second stroke, and her health deteriorated rapidly. She died December 29th, 1945, at age 67. Ed decided, the rational man that he is, boarded up all the rooms used by his mother. That included upstairs, her bedroom, downstairs, the parlor, the living room. He left them all untouched. So they were pristine, like she had left them, nice and clean. But the rest of the house became increasingly dirty. He lived in a small room next to the kitchen, and that's all that he used, was that room and the kitchen and the bathroom. That's it. Around this time, he became interested in reading pulp magazines and adventure stories. He particularly liked the stories that had cannibals or murderers or specifically Nazi atrocities. It was his favorite. On the morning of November 16th, 1957, Plainfield hardware store owner Bernice Worden disappeared. The sheriff walked in and found the till open and blood all over the floor. Ed was the last known person in the store, and he was arrested because I guess they decided that he had to be the murderer. So the police searched his house and just the whole house was searched. And this is where it gets really creepy. A county sheriff deputy discovered Warden's decapitated body in a shed on Ed's property, hung upside down by her legs with a crossbar at her ankles and ropes at her wrists. The torso was dressed out to be like a deer. She has been shot with a .22 caliber rifle, and the mutilations were after her death. Thank goodness, right? Okay, so searching the house, the authorities found this huge list of stuff, and I'm going to try my best to just read the whole list. They found whole human bones and fragments, normal for a killer, but they also found a wastebasket made of human skin covering several chair seats, skulls on his bedposts, female skulls, some with the top sawn off, bowls made from human skulls, a corset made from a human torso skinned from shoulders to waist, leggings made from human leg skin, masks made from the skin of female heads. A woman's face mask was in a paper bag. Bernice's entire head was in a burlap sack. Bernice's heart was in a plastic bag in front of Ed's potbelly stove. 9 vulva in a shoebox. A young girl's dress and 2 vulvas of females judged to be about 15 years old. A belt made from female human nipples, 4 noses, a pair of lips on the window shade drawstring, a lampshade made from skin from a human face, and fingernails from females. Long list. So, most of these items were from women he dug up at the local graveyards. Soon after his mother's death, he created a suit from her skin so he could literally crawl inside of her again. Creepy, right? During his trial for first-degree murder, he claimed insanity and was unfit for trial. But he was diagnosed with schizophrenia and sent to a maximum security facility and was later transferred to a state hospital. During his time locked up, he suffered respiratory failure due to lung cancer in July 26, 1984. Let that sink in. One creepy dude. Only murdered one person, but dug up recently deceased people. And the police actually did a test to see if he could do it all in one night, and he could. He could dig up the grave all in one night, put the casket back, and just take the whole body, back to his home, and fillet and skin and all that stuff. So, one creepy dude. Thank you for watching. Sorry I couldn't put pictures up. Too creepy, and YouTube wouldn't like that. So, I'll see y'all in the next video, okay? Bye.